You dig what I'm saying? If they all hollers, I'm a counterfeit. Yeah, I wanted money, I couldn't enjoy class.
It's your boy, yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's, and today we're here to discuss ASAP Rocky. And after my video on Yachty got a nice response, I thought it would be good to discuss if ASAP Rocky is dead / has he fallen off. And before I address this, something needs to be established. There are two sides to this question, or rather there are two sides to Rocky. There is the public figure side and the music side. The public figure side is the almost A-list celebrity and the fashion icon he has become. And looking at the pure image and status of Rocky, his prevalence and relevance as a celebrity and as a brand is as alive as ever. But then we get to the other side, the side that I'm here to discuss, the music side to Rocky, and the side that prompts an interesting question. Has ASAP Rocky fallen off musically? It's a statement that has been thrown around and debated upon pretty heavily since at long last ASAP. And before we dive in today guys, I just want to say make sure to follow your boy on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't. Now let's get back to it and let's take this falling off metaphor literally for a second and imagine Rocky was on a cliff, and this cliff is indicative of Rocky staying on or hot in his musical career. At this stage I don't think Rocky is falling off, but in saying that, he definitely is on the edge of the cliff and he's only one mediocre project away from possibly falling off the edge and falling off musically. Why? Well, let's begin with Live Love ASAP, an indefinite classic and such a career-defining album. Everybody loves it, everybody's heard it, everybody kind of grew up with it, and it's universally acclaimed and loved. So at this stage, Rocky is as far away as possible from the edge of this metaphorical cliff. And not much else needs to be said on the Live Love ASAP era. Next came a little hiccup in Long Live ASAP, the highly anticipated debut album, and put simply, was this as good as Live Love ASAP? No. Was this a bad album? No. But was this a great album? I would say borderline. It sits somewhere between decent, good, and great. It has absolute standout Rocky tracks like Angels, Goldie, and Suddenly, but then you have absolute duds like Fashion Killer, Wild for the Night, and others that are just average like Pain and Hell. And that doesn't sound too bad until you realize it's a 12-track album, so if a quarter of the album is skippable, it really hurts the album as a whole. Furthermore, the production across the project just wasn't as eclectic, wasn't as unique, and it wasn't as mesmerizing as Live Love ASAP's. The vibe of Live Love ASAP was on some other shit, and Rocky played his role perfectly with impeccable flows and effortless charisma. But Long Live ASAP didn't give off the same feeling. There wasn't this intoxicating and druggy vibe to the album, or maybe there was at certain points, but it didn't come through as potent or as addicting or as refreshing as it did on Live Love. And it felt like Rocky tried to make a mainstream friendly project, but he overcompensated in doing so, and it kinda lost a little bit of that magic that made Live Love so special. And at this stage, running with the metaphor, Rocky wasn't quite near falling off, but people did view Long Live ASAP as a step down from Live Love, and still today people hold the album in a lower regard compared to Live Love. So at this point, Rocky has receded towards the cliff, and he's in the middle point between the edge and where he was at with Live Love. And the timing is the next crucial point to mention here. Between 2013's Long Live ASAP and 2015's At Long Last ASAP, we saw J. Cole come in with Forest Hills Drive 2014 and become this huge artist. We saw Kendrick release To Pimp a Butterfly. We saw Drake's If You're Reading This It's Too Late. We saw Big Sean do huge numbers with Dark Sky Paradise. We were in the midst of Future's huge run. Schoolboy Q had a nice run with Oxymoron, and at this time, before the Drake beef, Meek Mill was shining. So whilst us, as fans, are wondering what the fuck is up with Rocky and his new album, Rocky's contemporaries and peers are dropping career-defining projects, their best work, and are putting up huge numbers, and are leaving Rocky behind. Also, it must be said that the unfortunate passing of ASAP Yams did have to do with the delay of Rocky's album. May he rest in peace. So taking over 2 years with Allah put the expectations sky high, and him bigging up the album as his best work yet didn't help either. On top of this was the outside pressure. Not only was Long Live ASAP viewed as a step down from Live Love, so there was pressure from his fanbase to deliver again, but all those names I listed earlier dropped great career-defining projects or grew enormously from project to project, and now it was Rocky's time to show and prove that he deserved to be up there with the elite once again. And did Allah do that? Unfortunately, Unfortunately not. The album wasn't bad, but again, it suffered from a lot of issues. Firstly, at 18 tracks long, it felt like the album dragged on, and some songs were just straight boring, whilst other tracks felt pointless. And again, although Rocky had improved his technical rapping, the aura, aesthetic, and the vibe of the album paled in comparison to Rocky's earlier material. I know I keep referring to this aura and vibe, but that was really Rocky's forte on Live Love. You don't listen to Live Love for Rocky spitting, you play that tape for the experience and the way Rocky's charisma, his voice, and his razor sharp flow melded and meshed with the cloud rap inspired production. And he is yet to be able to replicate or repeat that same vibe and that same level of artistry on a full project. Furthermore, the album, in comparison with his contemporaries, didn't do overly well commercially. It sold 149k first week, which is not a flop, and I'm not saying that, but back in 2013, Rocky was viewed as a top 3 to top 5 artist, and in 2 years, when you only sell 10,000 more than your previous album, and J. Cole, Kendrick, Big Sean, Meek Mill, Future, basically everybody at your level outsells you, some of which you outsold previously, it shows that you have progressed little from your previous effort, and that's why I think Allah moved Rocky closer to the edge of this metaphorical cliff. For an album that was meant to cement him as a legitimate top tier artist and put him back in those top 3 discussions that he was once in, it quite frankly just wasn't good enough as an album to stand on its own legs, and it didn't have the commercial success to stand on its own legs either, so it didn't progress him artistically in any meaningful way, nor commercially. So whilst I stress that Allah didn't signify Rocky falling off per se, it was definitely another decline for Rocky, and it moved him closer to this metaphorical edge. And since Allah, Rocky hasn't really done too much musically. We've seen the cozy tapes and Lucy's like Raf, Wrong, or a nice feature like New Chopper, but ultimately these haven't really shaped and changed the position that Rocky finds himself in. They're nice for what they are, and I enjoyed songs like Raf and New Chopper a lot, but if this output doesn't eventuate into great singles, a great rollout, and importantly a great top tier Rocky solo album, it means very little. So overall, from a music side of things, has Rocky fallen off? No, but if we were to run with the metaphorical cliff analogy, after receding with every subsequent project, Rocky is definitely on the edge or closer to falling off than being all the way on. And I think this next project is the one where we can either go, yep, Rocky has fallen off musically and will never reach that Live Love ASAP level again, or nah, Rocky has still actually got it low key. And that sums up the video for today, but it's also important to note that Rocky won't be fading away into irrelevance anytime soon, and he will probably never flop sales wise, as he is still held in such a high regard within the game. He has the respect of everyone, and it's not like he's putting out bad music right now, it's just not as good as it once was, and his status outside of hip hop as this celebrity and as this fashion icon naturally lifts and boosts his relevance within the music world. So even if his next album is average, and we might say he has fallen off musically, I don't think we will see Rocky fall off in terms of relevance anytime soon. But that's all from me today guys, thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to let me know your opinion on the topic and whether you think Rocky has fallen off or not. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more.